Hello, my name is Ryan, and today I'll be telling you about the opera Tosca. Tosca was composed by Giacomo Puccini. He was a very famous Italian composer in the late 18th century and the early 19th century, Tosca being one of his most famous compositions. Tosca was first performed on January 14th, 1900, in the opera house Teatro dell'Opera di Roma, which is in, you guessed it, Rome, Italy. The opera stars four characters. The first is Floria Tosca, who's a lead female in the opera. Then there is Mario Cavaradossi, who is a painter and the lover of Tosca. There is Baron Scarpia, who is the chief of police and the villain of the story. And finally, there is Cesare Anglettoni, who is an escaped political prisoner. The opera begins with Cesare Anglettoni fleeing to the church of Sant'Andrea della Valle. There, he is hiding from the police. Suddenly, Mario Cavaradossi arrives at the church to continue his painting of Mary Magdalene, a lady he saw praying at the church. It was then that Anglettoni revealed himself and Cavaradossi recognized him. Anglettoni asked him to help him hide from Baron Scarpia, who had been pursuing him. Out of nowhere, Floria Tosca came and Anglettoni went back into hiding. Tosca sees Cavaradossi's new painting, and she questions him if he's in love with the woman in the painting and being unfaithful to her. Cavaradossi denies any claims she made, but she still doesn't 100% believe him. When she leaves, Anglettoni reappears from hiding, and the two men make a plan to hide Anglettoni in Cavaradossi's well, where no one will find him. As soon as the two men leave, a new character appears. His name is Baron Scarpia. He was searching for Anglettoni with his henchmen in the church, and he had a hunch that he was with Cavaradossi. That was when Tosca came back to the church and saw Scarpia. Scarpia, being the creep he is, suggests that her boyfriend is actually in love with the woman in the painting. She then runs off to confront him. Craftily, Scarpia's men follow her to get to Cavaradossi and Anglettoni. The act closes with Scarpia singing Te Deum, where he talks about how he will bend Tosca to his will.
Tuo cor s'annida Scarpia. A Tosca. E Scarpia porto della tua gelosia. Promessa nel tuo pronto sospetto, nel tuo cuor s'annida Scarpia. A Tosca.
The curtain rises on Act 2, where it shows Scarpia chilling in his fancy apartment. We find out that he's managed to capture Cavaradossi, but not Anglettoni. He also has requested Tosca to join him. When Cavaradossi is questioned, he admits to nothing, so Scarpia sent him to the torture chamber. It was then that Tosca arrives and Scarpia starts to question her. She hears her lover's screams from the other room and ends up telling Scarpia where Anglettoni is. The torture ends and Cavaradossi gets dragged somewhere else. Scarpia tells Tosca that Cavaradossi will be executed and he will only be set free if she does the deed with him. What a pig. Obviously, she is disgusted and wants nothing to do with him. It was then she sang Visi Dat, in which she laments her situation and asks God for intervention. Fun fact about the song is that it was almost cut by Puccini, who believed the aria held up the action, which is just completely wrong. After, news arrives that Anglettoni has killed himself. Everything has been prepared for Cavaradossi's execution, so Tosca finally agrees to Scarpia's demands. Scarpia arranges for the execution to be faked and he signs a document to prove it. He then grabs Tosca in an embrace, but before anything happens, she stabs him, and in doing so, kills him. It was almost time for Cavaradossi's execution. Church bells were chiming, and the atmosphere was gloomy. He could only think about Tosca, and he began to sing one of Puccini's most famous romantic arias, I Lusovan le Stelle, where he says his farewell to life as he waits for his execution. Suddenly, Tosca bursts in and shows Cavaradossi the document, and that his execution is fake. When it was time for Cavaradossi's execution, he just had to fake his death, since the bullets would be blanks. Once they shoot, Tosca sees that he fell a bit too convincingly. As she examines Cavaradossi closely, she finds that Scarpia has had the last laugh and ensured that the shots were real. She is then chased by the police for the murder of Scarpia. She escapes their grasp and climbs a building before flinging herself off the edge to her death. Wow, that was intense. Basically, everyone died. What makes this even crazier is that this whole event took place in under 24 hours. Well, I hope you did enjoy my shortened version of the opera Tosca. That's it for me, so until next time. Peace.